Alright, Algebra 2. We're finally off the quadratics for number 7. Now we have a systems of equations. Remember that systems of equations is anytime you can write two equations or more that you need in order to solve a problem to find out two pieces of information or more. That's how you know it's a systems of equation problem. So as for a wedding, Sharita bought several dozen roses and several dozen carnations. The rose cost $15 per dozen, and the carnations cost $8 per dozen. Sharita bought a total of 17 dozen flowers and paid a total of $192. How many roses did she buy? Now, first of all, I know a lot of people are going to look at this problem and think dozen, okay, I got to change that to 12. But you notice how everything's in dozens, so you can actually just keep it that way. Everything is in dozens. There's no anywhere where it says how individual roses. Even when the question says how many roses did she buy, the answers are all in dozens. So we're going to ignore that unit of a dozen being 12 right off the bat. Okay, so we know that we have to make equations out of this. It says the roses cost $15 per dozen and the carnations are $8 per dozen, so we can say $15 times however many roses we buy, dozens of roses we buy, and $8 for every carnation we buy. So that would be represented by 15R and 8C. She says she bought a total of 17 dozen roses and paid a total of $192. Okay, so the number of roses we buy plus the number of carnations we bought must give us a total of 17. Okay, and remember that now if we're going to be using this the way we did this, we have 15R and 8C, we have to know that R is the number of roses, not the cost. 15R then is the cost because it's $15 times the number of roses. So that means that this total between the cost for the roses and the cost for the carnations, that equals 192. And at this point, we've got multiple ways we can solve this. We can solve by graphing, we can solve by elimination, we can solve by substitution. In my personal opinion, this one looks like an easy substitution problem because we already have them in the form of the R's plus the C's equal the numbers, which is like X plus Y equals a number. So, to eliminate, I am going to have to multiply this equation here by, and everything, both on the left side and the right side, by, I could, if I want to try to eliminate the C's, since that's the lower number, I'll multiply by negative 8. So then this will change into negative 8R minus 8C equals negative 136. Okay, so we've just converted this equation. We're going to want to keep it for later, so I kind of box it out and kind of go like that, because I know I'm going to want to look at it later for when I'm checking my answer, but I'll do this for now. Okay, so that means we have to add this equation and this equation so that our C's will cancel or eliminate. 8C and negative 8C will cancel. Okay, but 15R minus 8R is 7R, and 192 minus 136 is 56. Now we have 7R equals 56, so we have to divide by 7 on both sides to get R by itself, and we get R equals 8. So that tells us that the number of roses we bought were 8 dozen. Now, in this problem, it does say how many roses she buy, so we can check 8. However, you always want to check your answer. This is your final, this is a huge part of your grade. You're going to want to double check your answer always. So we have to find C in order to double check our answer. So go back to this equation that I said we were going to save for later, right here, that R plus C equals 17. We just figured out that R, the number of roses, is 8 dozen, so we do 8 plus C equals 17. And so we're going to have to subtract 8 from both sides. And we get that C, the number of carnations, must be 9. So we can double check that by going into the other equation here and see if this ends up being right. So it's $15 for every dozen roses, so 15 times 8. This is going back to this equation here. So 15 times 8 plus $8 for every carnation, a dozen carnations, so 8 times 9 should give us $192. Let's check and see if it does. 15 times 8 is 120. And 8 times 9 is 72. Does that add up to 192? Yes, it does. So we can say, okay, that's definitely the right answer. Roses cost, or we bought 8 dozen of them. And that's it.